really looking forward to the next post that I'm working on, but I'm not quite ready. Don't have the time to do it right now. So let's check out the comments. Greg Little says, excellent positions you have cited in this video. Good job. I hope you continue with these. Um, thank you, Greg. They are the positions of science. You did win that sword battle. Indeed, we did. Um, he talks about faces in stone. Of course, people can actually carve faces. I know that's true, but I would say the vast majority, but that would be an understatement. I'm not sure that I've ever had somebody hand me a stone with a face carved in it, and that they say has a face carved in it, and that it actually has a face carved in it. So I think in the vast majority of cases, people are just seeing things, for lack of a more sophisticated way to say that. Mikolanduchek, not sure how I pronounce that, says, thank the gods of archaeology you've returned. The creeping insanity has spread far and wide. I know. Uh, hello. This is Shark to Me Smiles. I'm going to click on that person. Who are you? Time for a homegrown carrot party.
Hello, America. Are you okay? Mega Republican holding you.
Okay. That person has certified. See what the quote was? That person says, hello, I did a quick read. You are not a whack-a-noodle. Thank you. Thank you for that alone. You are welcome. I hope you don't debunk something I love. Now I'm going to watch and listen. Well, if I do debunk something you love, I am sorry, not sorry. I am looking for um, pieces of evidence that will stand the test. And the problem with a lot of the pseudo-archaeology is that almost nothing that these folks hold on to actually um, stands up to any kind of scrutiny whatsoever. Echo Diff says, thanks for the videos. You are welcome. Oh, here's Shark to Me Smiles again. Is there any new finding you debunk? Does one find it weird the past showed itself when the world was quiet? Not quite understanding here. The last few years felt like a candy store. So many findings in 2 to 2.5 years, and so many different country revisited sites and new finds. Yes, I'm not fond of man. You know what? Sometimes I'm not either. But when they make a find, it brings all humans together from past to now. If the past world would speak, we would really hear. Old question, same problem. To me, this comment is actually a lot like the creeping insanity has spread far and wide. There have been a lot of new finds in archaeology and paleontology and anything that kind of tries to put flesh on the bones of the past. Um, there's been a lot of really good stuff out there. Uh, in terms of the pseudo archaeological side of it, there's been a lot of kind of the uh, co-opting of that real information into nonsense stories. And in those nonsense stories, they have the same kind of pile of crap evidence, assertions, and claims that has been going around and around on the spin cycle since the Victorian era. And so they add something else new in that they think is interesting or that seems to fit that story. Um, that's a little bit frustrating. Sometimes it happens very quickly. I have examples of that I'll probably talk about in the coming days, weeks, and months, however long I can stick it out. Uh, yeah. Oh, the single best piece of evidence for ancient aliens. So this is where I put the call out there that what's actually convincing in all of this. Greg Little writes, I see no evidence for the ancient alien theory at all, and have written many times that I do not agree with it. But I'd like to hear what you might say about Carl Sagan's 1963 article where he asserted via statistical calculations that there have probably been about 10,000 visits by quote-unquote aliens investigating Earth and its development during and since the last ice age. Planetary and Space Science 11.5 for, okay, I will definitely take a look at that. I forget what the name of it is, but there's a formula where the mysterious they, calculated the probability of uh, life existing on other planets by looking at the total number of stars and the total number of planets that would be there, and so on and so forth. And it's a really big number. So I totally buy the argument that there is life out there somewhere. I have not looked at Sagan's argument in particular that it's statistically probable that we have been visited thousands of times since the Ice Age. I don't know about that. What I do know is that the evidence that's put forward for that, the direct evidence that aliens have visited here, is garbage. So there's a difference, I think, between saying that something is likely to happen and then giving evidence that it did happen. And if the evidence that it did happen is garbage, then it might have still happened, but I can still criticize the evidence that you put forward because that piece of evidence is junk. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but if it did happen, there should be good evidence. You should be able to find it, and you should not keep relying on the same bullcrap that you have been since the 1960s. Somebody says, don't hold your breath. This is about the ancient aliens thing. Yeah, I know. The problem is the conclusion and thesis are already written with the evidence in the middle just getting filled in as time goes. If it doesn't fit, it goes in the trash. Correct. It's definitely phrased in ways that often make it unfalsifiable. That's true. Another problem is that when a piece of evidence or when it is phrased in a way that does make it falsifiable and it can be falsified, that they don't listen. They just don't listen. It's okay. Just keep on talking. A lot of these people, they have a pulpit and they have a megaphone, and the megaphone is commercial television and other platforms that keep amplifying this message. And so they can shout over any of the criticisms, and most of them do. They're not going to ever pay any attention to little old me here with my 600 subscribers and my stupid PhD and my brain that is capable of logical thought and argument. So there's no reason why they should pay attention to me because credibility is not what they are seeking. If they did, if that was what they were seeking, they would be trying to do science. So that's not what it's about. This comment by S90 got 2 replies. Helicopter and UFO hieroglyphs. Yep, terrible one. That's just stupid. Not even worth addressing anymore, probably. It's been debunked so many times. And, if you don't listen, you don't listen. I do not remember how I subscribed to you. You may be quite wise, but to expedite my trust in your word, did you get the COVID vaccine? That is my litmus test. Yeah, I got the COVID vaccine. I don't know whether that's good or bad in your book, but I get every COVID vaccine that they have offered to me. And I've had COVID too. Um, but I had a mild case of it, and here I am. So this is a disease that has killed millions of people. And absolutely, yes, I got the COVID vaccine. Uh, Somebody suggests Yonaguni Monument. That's the sunken natural rock formations somewhere near, I think it's off of Japan. Um, yeah, even some of the people who embrace some of the kookiness about the Sphinx have said that it's natural. So there you go. So for now, there is no good evidence for ancient aliens or even Hancock's inspired global civilization in the Neolithic. Sorry, maybe I could make something up. Hey, join the club. Just make stuff up. See the way seems the way these things generally go. Thanks for returning the grid. Love the sword videos. There will be more sword videos. That's something that definitely needs to be, at least my interpretation of all that in retrospect needs to be out there, and so those will be made. Um, I wrote, I hope someone comes up with something quickly. I'm holding my breath, which of course I'm not. So far it's crickets. Crickets from the ancient aliens crowd. What else do we have here? Oh, and then there's my video about Graham Hancock and his evidence that the cataclysm wiped out Clovis. Um, yep, wonderful demonstration of such. Wonderful to see this channel back. I will give that a like. Why not? Pseudoscience is moving from a cottage industry to being produced by multi-billion-dollar corporations. The world needs you. Glad you're still doing this. Thank you. And that's what I was just saying. My you know, one camera in my basement, and I don't. This is not even part of my job. It used to be when I was at South Carolina because I was teaching a course, and so I could work on these kind of things like during the day. But now it's just something that I'm going to have to do in my spare time. And if you're looking for who's David and who's Goliath in this fight, it is me with the sling. Understand that you're busy, but I've been liking these 5 to 10 minute videos. Thank you. I will try to keep them going as long as I can. Having trouble with what you say about East Wenatchee Clovis, and I explained that in the comment, and I think that that makes sense. Perfect example, simple explanation. Yeah, it's strike one for Randall Carlson, if you ask me. Dear teacher, the dog ate my homework, but believe me, Yeah, we're always supposed to believe. Weren't there something like 40 plus floods associated with the Washington scablands? Yeah, there were a lot. So you want to glom all those together, call it one super, super mega flood and say that it wiped out everything and not address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that there's one of the most famous Clovis sites in the whole continent named after the geographic place it is that you know exists, and it's down inside a flood channel. So explain me that one. Um, Bet good money that Graham Hancock is aware of this evidence, but since it doesn't support his theory, he dismisses it. Yeah, I don't know. The reason he got really mad at me a couple years ago was because I asserted that I thought what I knew what was in his head, and he assured me that I most certainly did not. So I am not going to say what's in his head. All I can say is what he has said, and he seems to be unaware of this. And if he is aware of this, then he should make a correction to his thinking, which is what a good researcher would do. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of happy grifters like him exist solely because I eat up content that proves he's wrong on almost every claim that he makes. Keep up the great work. You got it, Wally World 30. Graham Hancock's theories are just as dumb, in my opinion, as the concept of the root races systems according to theosophy. Yeah, and there's actually some overlap there too, which I don't know a whole lot about theosophy and Blavatsky. I've written about it a little bit and talked about it a little bit in the past. We read sections of it when we were talking about Atlantis because those things are connected. So I'm sure there's a lot of daylight there too between Graham Hancock's presentation of these ideas and theosophy. But all of this Atlantis stuff is connected at a deep level, a deep, deep level about the origins of commonalities in humanity and all that. So that's in there, and that's an interesting historical topic too. So, all right, I'm gonna try to get something edited here really quickly and move along, and hopefully I will get a new video up with a little bit more substance in a couple days or on the weekend. Have a good evening.